Welcome to the podcast. Today we have a world-renowned expert, Nupur Mukherjee, with us. She is one of the highly recognized and most sought-after business consultant, and with clients all over the world, and worked with more than very top names in the industry, like Fortune 100 companies. And thank you so much for coming here in the show. And I would like to give our viewers a lot of insight from your expertise and decades, 3 decades of experience, if I'm not wrong. Amazing. Thank you so much for coming to the show. So, Nupur, without wasting further time, I would like to understand there are a lot of things going on in the field of tech and data and all these things that are going on with digitalization. There are a lot of gap that's happening, and the digital divide is happening to a greater extent. So, but not many people are talking about it. Would you like to shed some light in that area, please?
Absolutely, and here I was trying to hide my age by not saying the three-decade experience, but it is what it is. In these last few years, especially with the pandemic hitting us, it has been a bit of a catharsis because we've really understood what the digital divide meant. It's not just about those who have access, who don't have access to technology, but about how it affects lives, industries, and in the way it's going to be used, and finally, both internally to the organization and externally, what's been the quality of use gap? Now, this is where it gets a bit more complicated, right? So, these gaps in connectivity creates gaps in skills, which creates gaps in wealth, spells the difference between success for tech investment, spells the difference between investments in startups, access to education, and as well as something which is very close to my heart, gender discrimination, right? So if we kind of make sure that we have data solutions that bridge in that digital divide by helping people, organizations find answers, solve problems, and in fact get inspired and be the inspiration for both existing tech, virtual tech, green tech, I think that could be the answer to our prayers.
That's amazing. I think you have articulated all the critical problems and have put it in one box. So can you give us, our viewers, some of the tips, like maybe just on top of your head, maybe 1 or 2 steps that they can take to maybe initiate that process a little bit?
So first thing I would say is that define where you want to go. It's not throw the tech solution at it, but where do you want to go? What does good look like for you? Can you describe it? Does it really, that good that has been there for the other industries, does it really work for your customized solution, your journey, your vision? And to my consultant fraternity and group who's listening, let's listen to the client for once. It's very important that while we are replicating and automating, we just don't use a cookie cutter as always, because every journey is different. Like our bodies are different, every organization is different.
True.
So understand that USP, right?
Not like implementing one strategy with every organization.
Right. There is a very good reusability factor. There's of course time to market, but sometimes we are kind of killing that humaneness or that ethos or that exuberance or that inspiration that makes an organization what it is, including the culture. Right? And what you get at the end of it is when you bring in a new tech, automation, and especially in today's market, the times there is recession, and we have to be more and more conscious about our operating costs. Apart from growth, the operating cost is a very big thing. Gone are the days where you would take a 5-year obsolescence journey. No can do, there will be jobs lost.
True.
So when we say that, this is the end goal I want to be, this is what my ROTE is, this is how my market product mix is, this is how I'm going to have a business as a service, this is how I'm going to meet my net zero 2050. The time horizon has reduced from 50 months to 11 months. That's your long term.
Massive.
If you think long term is 13 months and beyond, you've lost the game, because with the workforce attrition, with the current scenario and how dynamic is it, it's changing every 5 weeks, and you got to run along with it. So I would actually say this is a very childhood story called Alice in Wonderland, but the Queen of Hearts said that you got to keep on running to be in the same place. And if you want to run faster, that's where, and think different is where all the magic lies, I guess. So you got to give a little bit of the magic, and it has to be a partnership. There needs to be an engagement, and neither the business can decide, neither the tech can be deciding. Has to be a three-way partnership, three in a box: the business, the tech, along with employee engagement.
Fantastic.
And if you do it in the right mix, then definitely it could be the Michelin star that you're looking for, but at Indian street food price.
That's beautifully put. Nupur, I have a question. So it's like you have mentioned all these critical points, and these are very, very, thought-provoking. And also, I'm pretty sure that most big corporations are trying to implement or dabble with this concept and get things in perspective. So why do you think they're still struggling and not being able to be successful in their implementation?
Okay, now this is the unpleasant truth, but it's actually very funny because when their solution was sold, their shining bright tech was sold to them, they only sold them one part of the elephant. Okay, so
I see.
Right, so you got to see the elephant in entirety. Now, some of the tech like acceleration gives you reports faster, but at the same time, it could be used in double to reduce your compute cost by 30%.
Right.
People said, let's go to the cloud and save cost. But what they did is they took their existing problems and dumped it in the cloud, thinking it's like the holy Ganges, it will wash away all your sins. Right. That didn't happen. And they said cloud is bad, it's going to increase your costs. No, sir. You needed to optimize before you land there. Sure. It's like shifting house, right?
Makes sense.
So what is the need of the hour is that we need, don't get me wrong, we do need these experts, right? The AI ML experts, we need the blockchain experts, we need the analytics, the data experts, right. The digital first journey, mobile first journey. We got to keep that experience. But it's very siloed.
Right.
Because you become so much of an expert on one field that we've forgotten that this entire process is one stitched journey. Secondly, and my heart goes out to the C-suite, is usually they have to have multiple integrations, multiple systems, multiple data copies, multiple digital journeys where there is not a single pane of glass to look at how they want to run their operations right from various level of granularity, right? And be in real time. So I know of several cases where millions of dollars of investments, we couldn't have a real-time dashboard because the freshest data was available after 23 days. And with very, very small minor steps, with little or no investment, we brought it down to 2 days.
Amazing.
Right? And that means that you are in control about how you're going to steer your car forward.
I think you have put in a very interesting word, the word control. I think also a lot of organizations don't have control over their data.
No, they do. They think they do, and
they think they do.
That's where the fun part of it. I just recall one of the very senior banking leaders who had a good opportunity to work for. He said, "Think of yourself as a petrol pump, where whether if you have a Maruti car or you have a Maserati, both of the drivers will complain about the gas prices." Right,
Very
so
true.
It's your job to serve both a Maruti or a Porsche, but make sure that your fuel prices are less,
right,
and you give an awesome experience. That is the penultimate goal of what data and digital partnership is all about.
Right.
Now with blockchain into the foray, it's kind of stitching that entire journey together. So whether we are in the meat space, which is the actual physical world, or in the meta space, these are the principles, the foundational principles which works in both the ways.
Right.
It's the content, the speed at which you're getting the information, and finally the experience. Because if your experience is a lousy one, you won't visit that space no more.
That's very true.
And
Amazing.
It's got to be a single place of glass. So the boss in control, the person in control, knows how to press the brakes or the accelerator depending on what the outcome is intended to be.
Great insight, Nupur. Thank you so much for sharing this and sharing with our viewers. Thank you so much. I hope the viewers and the organizations listening to this podcast gets to pick your brain on this and get your expertise to improve their work processes or their digitalization process or tech aspects.